What's good, people? Uncle Hotep back at it again. How y'all doing? Happy Friday. Go listen to Hotep's Been Told You podcast on Hotep Jesus' channel. If not, you don't want to watch on YouTube. You can listen to the pod on Apple, iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and the whole 9 yards. I know we mentioned this on the pod yesterday about Hinnant. But I thought it deserved a little one-off video. I really didn't, doing a podcast, you're working with somebody else, and sometimes you don't get to say everything you want to say, and due to time constraints or just like, you don't want to rehash or go over something somebody else says, you know what I'm saying, or you don't get a chance to, you know what I'm saying. But I actually was going to do a video on this before, the pod, but I didn't get to it. I was kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. Sorry. Something's on my, I got to brush this immaculate beard, you know what I mean? The beard gang's coming up. But, the story of Hinnant, 5-year-old kid in Wilson, North Carolina, the crib, was shot and killed by some Sean Darius Sessoms. What the hell's in my face? Sorry. But, in a disgusting act of, evil, there's no proportion of evil for that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's immeasurable. Little kid was just outside playing, and like how you discord. I was reading something and it said the guy just ran outside, ran up to Hinnant, shot him, and then ran back in his house. It's disgusting. But I'm making this video because, I'm seeing, just get on Twitter and, mainstream media just finally picked it up. I think this happened on this happened before the 8th, right? And the crazy thing is, they invited Darius to eat at their crib like a night before. It's crazy. He said he never had any confrontations with Sessoms. There wasn't anything between me and him, any bad blood whatsoever for him to have any reason to do this. Now, a lot of people have complained. CNN just covered this yesterday. This was like earlier in the week. Let's listen to what this Paul has to say about this.
So, let's talk about what happened to little Hinnant, little 5-year-old. That's systemic racism because no one in the mainstream media mentioned it, right? That's okay. After all your marching and rioting and looting, and it's still going on over George Floyd and his body cam came out. You can call me white supremacist, you can call me a racist. I really don't give a fuck. Okay? I speak the truth. Yous are all fucking hypocrites and you should be ashamed of yourselves. Where's your white square? You're not gonna put a white square up for the little 5-year-old boy that got shot in his head? What about all you motherfuckers that are writing on the pages, on BLM pages, clapping that little boy got shot, that he deserved it because he was white? You fucking disgrace. The Democrats, the liberals, all of you are the racists. You are destroying America, every last single fucking one of you, and you will not be voted in.
A lot of truth to that. But that's really the sentiment about it, that this doesn't get the same coverage in mainstream media. Now, I will say, I'll echo Hotep Jesus' thoughts, but I want to hit this a little harder. Complaining about that CNN doesn't cover anything is like why would you watch CNN in the first place? You know what it is. just because they have a big audience and a lot of people still watch it, and CNN can whip up, a months long racial confrontation concerning George Floyd by replaying it and replaying it and replaying it, and some people are reacting to it. You want to do this? Do you want to do the same thing? We know they're propaganda. You should know this. Like I say all the time. A lot of people, a lot of conservatives will talk about China and their state media, or like Russia and their state media. Our media isn't any better. It's just a different model of control. Those other countries have a more direct approach and outright saying it's control. But in the United States, we're under this veil of, this is free speech, and we got, these are private companies that give us the news, the mainstream news. Come on, man. Like, if you haven't read, Operation Mockingbird and all those, the feds have been infiltrated these media sources. Everybody should know that U.S. media is not going to call it straight. They're just not. Liberal, conservative, it doesn't matter. They're not going to do it. You're better off going to YouTube. You're better off going to listen to me. You're better off listening to the Hoteps. The Church Dog 42, David Carroll, all these people. You're better off listening to them. It's 2020 and you're still crying. You can't be crying about the mainstream media. They're not going to call it straight. It's a shame. It really is. They exploit, they won't say that, like some people were saying, complaining about they didn't say the race of the attacker and stuff like that. But, if it was a white person, they would put with, who's the boy that shot up the church a while ago? I forget his name, but they made sure they said he was a white man, went into a black church. You know what I'm saying? While here with Canada, they're not going to say a black man shot a white boy. They won't say that. But we all know they won't say that. Let me hear what this is. I believe this is his father.
They can't imagine what it's like to hold your son while he's suffering from a gunshot wound to the head, and his blood going down all. As he began to work on my son, I immediately dropped to my knees and I just pray to God. I say, God, you're the most righteous and all powerful. Please just place your hand on my son, and that to the top of my lungs. He did place his hand on my son, not the way we all wish, but we're hoping that this tragic accident can bring some love to this world, because that's what Canada wants. We're relying on our faith in God. They can't imagine what it's like to hold your son.
That's unreal. I can't even imagine. And this is Therese is explaining murder of Canon Hinnant. Cannon's murderer is already arrested and charged, where it took the anger of the community burning down to a police precinct to arrest the vile pig who murdered George Floyd. Stop explaining the murder of a child. Like I said, you shouldn't even worry about mainstream media. But if you are worried about mainstream media, then you kind of be able to call a spade a spade. CNN's coverage of George Floyd, it dwarfed their coverage of Cannon. That's like Jenna, Maryland, whatever that Maryland 3. You're probably a bot. I don't even know why I picked. No, she's somebody's. I don't know. You might be a bot, or she's somebody's burner account. But I know it's almost. It might be. It's asking a lot of the American people to drop mainstream media. I'm talking about like from the boomers on up. I think the younger crowd, you have really a chance on it. I think this shows you. But and another thing, Hotep Jesus was right last night. He said like before, like in the 80s and 90s, they wouldn't have called like this. They would have called it like this would have been a first page story. I guess that was the 91 crack bill era. You know what I'm saying? But this shows you how the media and the state are the same thing. They want to lock people up. They're gonna put these stories up and stuff like that. If they don't, they're gonna hide these stories. It shows you. It exposes the American media for what it is. And that's not, and it goes beyond the liberal conservative slant. A lot of people are starting to see it. We got a one-party system. They might switch hands every few years, but it's total control. There's near total control of both sides of the aisle, and that goes for like media outlets as well. You can't tell me, like, even going past this, the Iraq War is another example. They didn't call out all the fake evidence. You know how they're calling out they're saying anything COVID, that's not going with the official word of COVID is fake news. They ban them and everything like that. Right. We can all see that. They didn't do that during Iraq 9/11. I said Iraq. Jesus. Almost slipped up. But they didn't do that during the Iraq War. All the evidence was presented. Nobody in media really called it out, saying it was outright fake. It was talking about mobile biolabs. Like he had put together trucks, and he had riding around creating gas agents and stuff like that. Preposterous type stuff. Media didn't call them, but they're quick to call out anybody that has, that's questioning the situation we're in now. And I want to speak on that, because you know how YouTube is. We shouldn't be surprised about how the media is covering Canada. We shouldn't be. We should have. It should have just stopped using it, media. I recognized that a while ago, but we should have just stopped, acknowledging and talking about and using, mainstream media. It's a farce. It's been a farce since way back. Like, ask ourselves, was it a farce in the JFK? Yeah, it was. It's still a farce on it now. Was it a farce that ship, the redacted, damn near blew to smithereens? Didn't cover it? 50th anniversary of that event was just was 2 years ago? Last year? You wouldn't know it. Mainstream media didn't cover that either. And I'm not going to talk about September 11. Media was trash on that too. It was trash on Oklahoma City. Y'all see it? Well, so why are we surprised about Canada? You should use this point to further prove that, I tell the Shine all the time, media is trying to manipulate us. We have to stop falling for it. That's what, George Floyd, how they overdo these stories. Trayvon. You gotta be careful, man. And I hope this is a wake-up call. We got to be in this together, or we ain't going to make it. And they're going to get their way. It's crazy. rest in peace to this little boy. I'll talk to y'all later.